Once upon a time, in the city of Benares in northern India, there was a king named Brahmadatta. The Enlightened Being, who was wise and knowledgeable, became one of the king's ministers after completing his education. One day, King Brahmadatta decided to visit his beautiful pleasure garden, and a large group from the royal court went along with him. As they explored the park, they came across a clear and cool pond. The king wanted to take a swim, so he dove into the water and invited the women from his harem to join him. Laughing and chatting, the women removed their jewelry necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings, anklets, and more and handed them to their servant girls for safekeeping. Then they jumped into the pond with the king. One of the king's favorite queens had a precious pearl necklace that she loved so much she called it most precious. A curious monkey was watching all of this from a tree nearby. When she saw the beautiful necklace, she couldn't believe her eyes. She imagined how amazing she would look wearing it. The monkey kept a close eye on the servant girl who was guarding the necklace. At first, the girl was very attentive, but soon the heat of the day made her sleepy. When the monkey saw her dozing off, she quickly swung down from the tree, snatched the necklace called most precious, and hid it in a hollow of the tree. Then she sat quietly, pretending to be innocent. A few minutes later, the servant girl woke up and immediately noticed that the necklace was missing. Terrified, she screamed, "Help! Help! Someone has stolen the queen's pearl necklace, the one she calls most precious." The royal guards quickly gathered around her, and the theft was reported to the king. He commanded them to find the thief immediately. Afraid of the king's anger, the guards began searching the garden frantically. At that same time, a poor man was walking just outside the garden on his way back to his village after paying his taxes. Hearing the commotion from inside, he got scared and started to run. Unfortunately, the guards saw him running and thought he was the thief. They chased after him and easily caught him. The guards began beating the poor man, shouting, "Confess that you stole the queen's pearl necklace, the one called most precious." The poor man thought, "If I say I didn't take it, they will beat me to death. But if I confess, they'll take me to the king, and maybe I'll have a chance to explain." So he said, "Yes, I stole the necklace." The guards handcuffed him and brought him before the king. When the king asked, "Where's the most precious necklace now?" the man, being clever, replied, "My lord, I am very poor and have never owned anything valuable, not a most precious bed, chair, or pearl necklace. It was your chief financial advisor who made me steal it. I gave it to him, and he alone knows where it is." The king summoned the chief financial advisor and asked, "Did you take the most precious necklace from this man?" The advisor, feeling trapped, said, "Yes, my lord." "And where is it now?" asked the king. "I gave it to the royal teacher," replied the advisor. The king then called for the royal teacher, who claimed, "I gave it to the court musician." The court musician was summoned and questioned. He said, "I gave the most precious necklace to a high-class prostitute." When the prostitute was brought before the king, he demanded to know what she had done with the queen's pearl necklace. She replied, "Your Majesty, I don't know anything about a pearl necklace." As the sun began to set, the king said, "We'll continue this investigation tomorrow." He handed the 5 suspects over to his ministers and returned to his palace for the night. The royal minister, who was the Enlightened Being, had been observing everything that happened in the pleasure garden. He realized that the mystery of the missing necklace could only be solved through careful thinking, not by jumping to conclusions. So, he began to analyze the situation. He thought the necklace was lost inside the pleasure garden, but the poor man was caught outside. The gates of the garden were well guarded, so it's impossible that the man could have stolen the necklace and escaped. Likewise, no one inside the garden could have gotten out with the necklace. This means that none of these people, inside or outside the garden, could have taken the most precious necklace. The poor man probably blamed the chief financial advisor to save himself. The chief financial advisor must have involved the royal teacher, thinking it would help him. The royal teacher might have blamed the court musician to make his time in prison more enjoyable with music. And the court musician likely accused the high-class prostitute, hoping her company would make prison life less miserable. Clearly, all 5 suspects are innocent. But the garden is full of monkeys, and they are known to be mischievous. It's likely that a she-monkey saw the necklace and took it, thinking it would make her the grandest among the monkeys. The minister then went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, if you allow me to take over the investigation, I believe I can solve this mystery." "Of course, my wise minister," the king replied. "Take charge of the investigation." The minister instructed his servant boys to keep the 5 suspects together in one place, and to secretly listen to their conversations. When the 5 thought they were alone, they began talking. The chief financial advisor scolded the poor man. "You little crook, we've never met before, so when did you give the necklace to me?" The poor man replied, "My lord, I have never owned anything valuable, let alone the most precious necklace. I only mentioned you because I was scared and hoped that someone as important as you could save us both. Please, don't be angry with me." The royal teacher then said to the chief financial advisor, "You see, he admits he didn't give it to you, so how could you have given it to me?" The chief financial advisor responded, "I thought that if we backed each other up, we could find a way out of this mess." The court musician then asked, "Royal teacher, when did you give the necklace to me?" The royal teacher replied, "I thought that if you were with me in prison, your music would make our time there more pleasant. That's why I lied." Finally, the high-class prostitute said to the court musician, "You liar, we've never met, so how could you have given me the necklace?" The court musician apologized, "Please don't be angry. I only accused you because I thought having you with us in prison would make us all happier." The prostitute was the only one who told the truth, so no one could blame her for anything. The minister's servants reported all of this back to him, confirming his suspicion that a monkey had taken the necklace. He decided to come up with a plan to get it back. The minister had some cheap imitation jewelry made and ordered several she-monkeys in the garden to be caught. He had the monkeys decorated with the fake necklaces and bracelets, and then released them back into the garden. He told his servants to watch the monkeys closely and to scare any monkey they saw with the real pearl necklace. The she-monkey who had stolen the most precious necklace saw the other monkeys strutting around with their fake jewelry. Feeling jealous, she thought, "Their jewelry is fake. I'll show them my real necklace." She put on the most precious necklace, and immediately the servants scared her into dropping it. They picked up the necklace and brought it to the minister. The wise minister then took the necklace to the king and said, "Your Majesty, here is the most precious necklace. None of the 5 suspects were guilty. It was actually stolen by a mischievous little she-monkey in your garden." The king, amazed, asked, "How did you know it was a monkey? And how did you get the necklace back?" The minister explained the whole story, and the king praised him, saying, "You were the right person for the job. In times of need, it is the wise who are truly valuable." The king then rewarded the minister generously with gold, silver, pearls, and other treasures. The moral of the story is, theft comes from greed, lies come from fear, and truth comes from careful thinking.